Good day, everyone. I'm Ferlin Hannah Dandan, and today we'll talk about one of the most important parts of research data collection. Every research project depends on reliable data. So, if our data is weak, then our findings and conclusions will also be weak. So, this lesson will help us understand what data collection is, why it matters, and the different ways researchers gather information. Learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, students should be able to explain clearly what data collection is, identify the different methods researchers use to gather data, and apply knowledge by giving examples of which methods are suitable in different research situations. Introduction to data collection. Gathering information to answer research questions ensures accuracy and reliability. So, data collection is simply the process of gathering information to answer our research questions. It is the starting point of analysis and interpretation. Without data, we cannot test our hypothesis, find patterns, or prove a point. So, a well structured data collection process ensures that the information we use is accurate, reliable, and useful for solving problems. Importance of data collection. Basis for analysis and interpretation, ensures validity and credibility, and aids decision making. So, data collection is important because it provides the raw materials for analysis. So, if our data is complete and reliable, then our analysis will be valid and our conclusions credible. Decision making is also depends on good data. There are two main types of data, qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative data deals with descriptions and words. For example, when we ask students how they feel about online learning, their answers are qualitative. Quantitative data, on the other hand, is numerical and measurable. If we ask how many hours a student studies per day or what their grades are, those are quantitative. Both types are equally important in research, depending on the purpose of the study. Methods of data collection. Researchers can collect data in two main ways, primary and secondary. Primary data is original data collected by the researcher themselves through surveys, interviews, or experiments. Secondary data, on the other hand, is information that already exists, like books, journals, or online databases. Both are useful. For example, if you are studying students' health habits, you might conduct a survey that is primary, but also review existing medical records. That is secondary. Survey method collects large data quickly. For example, questionnaire on student study habits. Surveys are one of the most common methods in research. They allow us to collect large amounts of data in a short time. So, a survey might include a questionnaire distributed to students asking about their study habits. So, surveys are easy to administer, but their accuracy depends on how well the questions are designed. Interview method, in-depth information. Example, teacher interview on classroom strategies. Interviews provide detailed information because they allow direct interaction between the researcher and the respondent. For example, interviewing teachers about their classroom strategies will give you in-depth insights that a survey might miss. However, interviews take more time and effort to conduct. Observation method records natural behavior. Observation method records natural behavior. For example, observing classroom participation. Observation is a method where the researcher watches and records behaviors or events in a natural setting. For example, a research might observe how often students raise their hands in class. So this method captures real behaviors but requires careful attention and objectivity. Experimentation. Test, cause, and effect. For example, comparing two teaching methods. So experiments are used when researchers want to test cause and effect relationships. For example, comparing two teaching methods to see which one results in better students' performance. Experiments give strong evidence but require careful control of variables. Focus group discussion. Small group sharing opinions. For example, parents discussing about online learning. So a focus group involves a small group of people discussing a specific topic, guided by a facilitator. This method is useful for exploring opinions and generating ideas. For example, parents can be gathered to share their experiences about online learning challenges. Document and record review. Reviews past data. For example, checking student academic records. Document and record review uses existing materials such as reports, logs, or official documents. It's cost effective and saves time since the data already exists. For instance, a researcher can review academic records to track student performance over several years. Digital tools in data collection. With the rise of technology, digital tools have become essential in data collection. Google Forms and SurveyMonkey help researchers conduct online surveys. Excel and SPSS help in storing and analyzing data. So these tools make data collection faster, easier, and more accurate. Ethics and challenges. Ethics is about confidentiality, consent, and avoid bias, while challenges is about limited sources, dishonesty, and data issues. So ethics is crucial in research. We must protect the privacy of our respondents, gain their information consent, and avoid bias or manipulation. At the same time, researchers face challenges such as lack of resources, dishonest answers from respondents, and difficulties in managing large amounts of data. So recognizing these helps us plan better research. To sum up, data collection is the backbone of research. Different methods like surveys, interviews, or experiments serve different purpose depending on the study. But regardless of the method, accuracy and ethics must always be prioritized. So reliable data leads to reliable conclusions, and that is what makes research valuable. Before I end, I'd like to ask you two simple questions to reflect on what we learned today. Number one, what do you think will happen if the data collected in research is wrong? Number two, if you were to research about student study habits, what method would you use to collect data? Thank you everyone for listening and participating in today's discussion about data collection. Have a great day ahead.